Welcome to Study with the Best, the magazine show that's all about CUNY. I'm Tina Beth Pina. We're here at John Jay College, and coming up on today's show, art from the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center, ice sculpting, virtual reality, and so much more. But first, 104-year-old College of Staten Island student Margaret Ricciardi is living the life of an artist. Marie-Eve Ami has this inspiring story.
I took drawing for a while, and then I went into painting. And after a few years of painting, then I went into sculpture. And then when I kept enjoying it more and more, I said, when I had to pick a major, I said, I'm going to major in art. I always resented that I didn't have a college degree. My husband had a shoe business, and we both had said, when we retired, we are going to go full-time and get our degrees. Because if our grandchildren grow up and we're always preaching to them, you've got to have a college degree, otherwise you don't get anywhere very fast. His dream didn't come through, unfortunately. He had a severe heart attack and was gone within 10 minutes. I sold the business and I registered full-time at the college. It was the only way I could keep my sanity. It was such a shock. We had so many plans.
At 67 years old, Margaret Ricciardi decided to go back to school full-time and registered at the College of Staten Island.
Professor Levine, he was such a nice professor. I had all my paints and everything on the palette, and he came over to me. He said, "What are you waiting for?" I said, "I thought you'd teach me how to paint." He said, "Let me see you take the brush, put paint on it, and now get it on the canvas and keep putting paint there, and you'll see something will develop." And I was kind of taken aback because I thought he was going to show me how. But from that day on, I saw what he meant. Things evolve on the canvas as you're getting the paint on. Somehow or other, a figure develops, or an animal, or something comes out, and I loved it.
Margaret obtained her bachelor's degree in studio art in 1986, and in 2017, she received an honorary doctorate from CSI, celebrating her more than 30 years' commitment to her craft.
I enjoy being there. The teachers are great, the people you meet. I've made many friends going to the college. Some of the kids would turn to me and saying, it's been a long time I've been out of school, and this isn't easy for me. And they were probably 20 years old or 22. And I'd say, "Really? It's rough, isn't it?" And they'd say, "Yeah, I don't remember some of the things I learned in high school." I said, "How would you like it if you were my age and how long I've been out of school?" "Oh, then that's not any different, believe me, so no excuses. Just put in your time, study." I say to them, "You're going to make it, you'll do well, and before you know it, you'll have your degree and you'll be making lots of money." And they say, "Yeah, oh, okay."
Margaret also studied art in Italy, and she established the Margaret and Frank Ricciardi Scholarship for Italian majors to be able to study abroad.
Why did you start this scholarship?
Because, first of all, a memory of my husband. He was from Italy, and he came here when he was 16 because he wanted to come to America. He heard there were so many opportunities here. And we went to Italy on my honeymoon. I met his family, and then he took me traveling around, and I fell in love with it.
And she still travels to Italy with her large and always growing family.
How many great-grandchildren do you have?
Just had number 17. And I have 2 great-grandchildren getting married, one in August and one in September of this year.
You're busy.
And they keep saying, "Great-grandma, take care of yourself. You've got to come to the wedding." And I say, "I'll try."
And what's an advice you would give about life in general?
Do what you want to do when you think of it, right then. You plan it and do it. Don't wait. Have fun. In life, it goes very fast.
For Study with the Best, I'm Maria Vamy.
Our recent art show here at John Jay College presented the works of detainees from the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center. Let's take a look.
The theme of the show is the ocean. In part, that's because detainees explain to us that they feel calm when they think about the ocean. I eventually asked a former detainee who said, well, our cells are only yards away from the ocean. We can hear it, we can smell it, but we can't see it because there are tarps covering all of the fences. Only for 4 days, once in 2014 when a hurricane was approaching, did the guards take down the tarps. And the detainees spent those days just looking at the ocean. And once the tarps went back up, the detainees started to paint the sea, to sculpt ships, to try and recapture the feeling of peace and freedom from these days. These works are all the more remarkable because of the strict conditions on making art at Guantanamo. You can't have oil paints because those have toxic chemicals. You can't have knives or sharp scissors. At the beginning, they wouldn't even allow them to have pencils. They can only work in charcoal or oil pastels. To me, almost the most interesting thing about them was on the back, because each of these works has a number of stamps indicating that they were screened and approved to leave Guantanamo by military censors looking for hidden messages in the art. This is a model ship made out of essentially trash. Cardboard, painted to look like wood. The sails are old t-shirts. The ship's wheel is a bottle cap painted gold. All of the ships he makes have an eagle's wing shaped prow because to him eagles symbolize freedom. And the flags are green because to him that's the color of hope. So he has 3 ships in the show, 2 old-fashioned sailing ships and a gondola, a Venetian gondola. It was a gift to his new lawyer the first time he met her, which I think was a very good way of showing her that no matter what she might have heard about the rumors and accusations about him, that he's still a human being after all. Starting in 2009, the Department of Defense launched official art-making classes at Guantanamo. The DoD explained this is to keep the prisoners distracted from harming us, the guards, from harming themselves, from harming each other. Once a week, you could go to an art classroom. Imagine just your typical sort of high school art classroom. You'd draw, you'd sketch, but you would be chained to the floor while doing so. 2 of the current detainees whose work is on the show are long-term hunger strikers. So the works that they made for the show are things like empty water glasses, bowls of fruit that look like traditional art school exercises, but to me take on a very different meaning when they're made by someone who hasn't eaten in 4 years, who's been force-fed. A few months into this exhibit, the Pentagon said that they were changing their policy, that now no art will leave Guantanamo, not to family members, not to lawyers. Even if a detainee himself is cleared for release, he can't take his artwork with him. To me, this is a very mistaken policy, whether you believe the men there are guilty or innocent. If they're wrongfully detained, it's just another abuse heaped on them. If they're guilty, you have to realize art making is the only form of therapy available at Guantanamo. So if you want to keep them sane to face trials, let them keep their paintbrushes. There were a couple of reports on this show before the Pentagon changed their policy, but after the controversy, there have been something like 150 articles and news reports and radio pieces in 11 languages. The policy is very disturbing, but the silver lining is that now millions of people have seen these artworks. I've been surprised at how many visitors would say, wait, Guantanamo's still open? And Guantanamo is a very dark, opaque place. We as Americans often don't get to participate in decisions about it. So I think that anything that leads us to think we need to give these men trials instead of holding them indefinitely is a good thing. This show is perfect for John Jay College of Criminal Justice because this is what we do here. We study terrorism. We study the effects of detention, whether it's wrongful or justified. So these works are windows to the soul of men that we really need to understand more about.
Wedding food has deep roots in cultures around the world. CUNY grad Mia Michelle Abad has more.
Today we're going to talk about Claire Stewart. She's a City Tech professor and former chef who recently documented the history of wedding food through her book, As Long as We Both Shall Eat.
Food is such a major part of wedding celebrations, and I just thought it was such an interesting topic to look into, especially considering how many weddings I've actually cooked for.
When Professor Stewart cooked in the renowned kitchens of Gracie Mansion and the Rainbow Room, she learned that every stomach has a different craving.
There's certain foods that make everybody happy, even though it's not particularly fancy, but you also have to remember now with so many people who are gluten-free or vegan or vegetarian, there's certain dishes that you can offer that won't offend anybody. A Caesar salad, arugula salads are big. Artisan stuff, like with specialty cheeses or specialty meats, stuff that is not fancy into itself, like a grilled cheese sandwich isn't fancy, but what if it's made with very expensive cheeses with homemade bread? That's very, very popular.
While the food is always changing, one thing that all weddings have in common are their traditions.
Some of the traditions of weddings, for instance, like the honeymoon, I think go back to as long as people have been writing or being able to record. Also with toasting, there's a tradition, and who knows if it's actually true, but one of the reasons for toasting is to bring peace. So if you have the father or the mother of this bride and groom from two different cultures exchanging glasses, then you know the wine's not poisoned. I had a student here, I asked her about Korean weddings. She said that the bride holds her gown out or a sheet or a piece of fabric or something, and the groom does as well. And depending on the tradition, like the mothers-in-law or the families, the cousins or somebody would throw nuts or they throw figs or dates at them, and you try to catch them in your gown, and however many you catch is how many boys or girls the groom or bride is going to have. That doesn't mean that these people actually believe that, just like we don't necessarily even throw rice anymore or think it actually means fertility. It's a tradition.
Wedding traditions are just one aspect of the culinary history that Professor Stewart talks about in her book.
It's a good little overview of our culture. It's a nice little history of our country, I think, in a way, because not everybody gets married, but everybody is exposed to the culture of the weddings.
At City Tech, Professor Stewart teaches her students the ins and outs of creating a feast.
I do have one particular class where we basically work with, banquet cuisine and getting things done, because cooking for a wedding is basically creating a banquet, which is much different than working in a restaurant. A banquet is going to be more profitable because you don't have to order more food than you need. You know what's coming. You know how much staff you need. But it's also easier to prepare because you're picking up 100 plates all at one time. Whereas in an a la carte restaurant, you wait and you don't know what are they going to order, and then you pick up 4 plates, 5 plates, 4 plates. You know, it's a different mentality. My biggest thing that I imparted to my students is that this is what hard work looks like. I am a professional chef, I'm not a writer, and I always wanted to write a book. And it's a lifelong dream, and you know what, I did it.
Professor Stewart is proud of this achievement, and her book helped her reconnect with the magic of creating a special feast.
It's very easy to lose touch with the joy in food and the joy in events, especially the joy in weddings. And I think researching the weddings kind of helped me find the love again, and to remember all the special things about weddings, and to remember all that preparation and all that care is to prepare for what should be, hopefully, is one of somebody's most joyous days. So I think the book helped me fall in love again.
Hunter College grad Shintaro Okamoto has become one of the most prolific ice sculptors in the country. And you're about to see how he's taken this ancient craft and elevated it into a true art form. Minnie Rowe has that story.
The way we carve this kind of a combination of kind of old school craft with hand tools, chisels and saws, plus the power tools, chainsaws, die grinders and drills.
From bears and swans to cars, Star Wars, even a life-size chessboard. If you can think of it, Shintaro Okamoto can carve it.
We've done, furniture made out of ice, an entire room made out of ice, portrait replicas, interactive material products and designs.
Every day, Okamoto Studio churns out works of art made completely from ice for clients with household names such as Martha Stewart, Uniqlo, and Porsche. Sometimes the pieces are carved from one solid block. Sometimes it's several pieces fused together by slightly melting the ice and letting physics work its magic. Every time it results in a dramatic masterpiece that Okamoto urges people to touch, feel, even lick.
I love, putting our work out and having people who didn't expect it come across it, and then be able to interact with it and learn about our craft and what we do. So that's a really great feeling as an artist, to really kind of directly connect with people and then kind of contribute some kind of knowledge that then they can then spread.
These striking conversation pieces all begin life as a massive block of frozen water. Okamoto makes his own ice in these machines that take up to 3 or 4 days to create a giant ice cube that stands 4 feet tall and weighs about 300 pounds. First, Okamoto etches out the sketch. His chainsaw slices into the ice, and like melted butter, it cuts, molds, and finally transforms the frozen mass into what can only be described as a cool piece of art.
Working with ephemeral material like ice is, kind of falls in a realm of something closer like performance art.
Okamoto credits his talent for ice sculpting to his father. A trained sushi chef from Japan, Takeo Okamoto discovered a passion for ice art while pursuing his day job. The elder Okamoto was so passionate about his craft, he moved his entire family to Alaska in the pursuit of ice.
I remember, one boring winter day, took us to a frozen lake and took out a chainsaw and cut out a block of ice, pulled it out, and actually sculpted a swan and gave it to a friend for a big house party.
At first, Okamoto says ice carving was just a way for him to spend time with his dad. But soon he was hooked, and the duo entered competitions across the country, from Fairbanks, Alaska to Central Park. In the 90s, they would set up shop in Queens, New York, where they carved their way through the heart and hearts of New York City.
I think what makes our work fun and challenging and interesting and fulfilling is that we get to do our work here in New York City. In New York City, it's the center of top tastemakers of all industries. So we get to really change hats every day, working with event designers, fashion designers, to product designers, doing fashion shows and film premieres and replicas of designs, and artists that we open our studios to do different commissions and collaborations.
Depending on the subject, ice creations can take anywhere from an hour for this swan to an entire day and more, as in the case of this life-size replica of an elephant. And while these beautiful carvings stand tall and proud for many hours, eventually, as ice is wont to do, it melts into a puddle of water. True to his Asian upbringing, though, Okamoto is philosophical, almost zen, in the temporary nature of his craft.
When you experience something that's going away right in front of you, I think makes that present moment that much precious. And I think it's that kind of relationship with memory and presence and time that is clearly art of its own.
The virtual reality lab at Lehman College is in full swing, and Donna Hanover puts on some 3D goggles to take a closer look.
Like we had discussed, the arrow bobs up and down along with the user.
Vincent Navarro does biomedical research on drugs to fight prostate cancer. But for the last year, he has also been a student in the Virtual Reality Training Academy at the Lehman College School of Continuing and Professional Studies in the Bronx. With a small group of others, he's finishing an intensive course where they've learned how to create virtual and augmented reality applications. This one is for teaching refinery workers how to deal with benzene exposure.
Benzene is very hazardous, it's cancerous, so teaching them essentially how to react to these situations is very important.
Virtual reality is better than a teaching film because people can be immersed in the environment, seeing it all around them, use the hand controllers to interact, and get feedback immediately on whether their reactions are correct. Lehman Vice President Ron Berkman says the VR Training Academy is a partnership with global company Eon Reality.
We're really excited to train students in this growing industry because we know that's where the jobs are going to be. Eon is a fabulous partner. They have a well-defined curriculum. They have provided us with trainers, and they have a variety of centers like this around the world. This is the first in the Northeast.
Eon even guarantees jobs to at least 3 graduates. Sometimes the students work with VR headsets, and sometimes with the iCube, which trainer James Canada demonstrated to me.
These are the tracker devices?
They are. So if you kind of walk around, you can kind of walk up close to the neuron there. You can kind of get underneath and look around it.
Oh my goodness.
So you notice that when she moves her head around, the image on the screen actually changes.
But it looks like it's right here.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah.
And the controller allows you to interact with the simulation, pulling apart the neuron for a closer look.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And the students here are creating these kinds of simulations?
They are.
Jane McKillop, interim dean of the School of Continuing and Professional Studies, says most of the students are doing the training on top of their regular jobs. And though it's low cost at less than $600, it's intense.
It's really rigorous. It's 11 months, 23 hours a week, 5 nights a week, all day Saturday.
Most of the students are not computer experts, but instead visually creative people with an interest in technology.
Sky, we still need to work on the sky.
Yeah, I looked into that issue, and the sky is actually made up of 2 separate texture files. So it would take a little bit more work to make them cohesive.
Michael Brenner, a lawyer who has also studied at the Fashion Institute of Technology, sees a fantastic future with VR.
This is design on steroids. You name the industry. If you're talking about real estate, you can envision a home before it's been built, before the interior's been placed in there. If you're envisioning something for the military, you can do drills. And to have people put in these situations, you can now communicate so much more to them with a virtual environment, and you will see it gradually seep into your daily life just the way you've seen smartphones.
Building a simulation is complex. They need to create the 3D models and animations, which are called assets, and then program for the interactions. Tina Cheng, who previously worked in publishing, says her 9-year-old son Skylar is especially proud of her studies. She says the work is collaborative.
The personality types that are drawn to virtual reality and augmented reality are really swell people.
Are they particularly creative?
They're creative, they're technically savvy, they're interested in doing something new. So that's really fun for me.
Some students are looking for new careers. Others see it helping their current work.
I saw the potential of it for use in the lab, in my setting. Okay, so I do biomedical research. All that I do every day is look through a microscope, look at these cells, take pictures of them. But when I take a look at them on the screen, I'm seeing them on a flat 2-dimensional screen. By putting on a headset, it changes my perspective. All of a sudden now I'm looking at it as it exists in, your body or in a tissue culture flask. It will catapult, our research.
Some people think augmented reality will be even more significant than virtual reality.
Virtual reality is one that literally just eliminates the world at large. So you put on this headset, this head-mounted display, the world just disappears and a new world appears before you. Augmented reality doesn't block your existing world. It's really an additional layer of information that's superimposed on the world.
Vice President Bergman gave an example of how useful it will be.
Augmented reality will be extremely valuable in the medical profession. Just imagine that a healthcare practitioner, a doctor, a nurse will have a set of goggles that will enable them to view a medical record. They could view x-rays while they're looking at the patient.
And he says sales of augmented reality headsets are one predictor of growth.
Headsets last year in 2016, there were about 163,000 sold. By 2025, they expect to sell 25 million headsets. And in fact, some people predict that augmented reality devices will replace smartphones.
Lehman College is recruiting now for the next VR Training Academy class. You can find out more at their website, lehman.cuny.edu/VR. Dean McKillop says the students don't seem to mind the hard work.
What do you think inspires them?
Oh, I think this speaks to their passions. I think it just engages their imagination and their hearts.
So the training here in creating virtual and augmented reality is making sure that people have command of the technology to fill the jobs of the future. And if there's a little fun to be had along the way, that's okay too.
That's our show for today. For more information on any of our stories, log on to our website at CUNY.TV or check out our Study with the Best Facebook page. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.